Baruch Hashem, today's Ches Elul, Shnas Hakel, the 11th day in the Limud Daf Hayomi in Hemshech Hagadol Tafish Samach Vov Rebbe Rashab. So we're here in the middle of the Maamer שובה Israel, and yesterday we started discussing that, we continued discussing the idea of Seif Ma'aseh Machshava Tchila. Hadafka, the end, the doing that happened down here Lamata, Ta'asiyas Ha'olam Hazeh Tachton, that is the Tchilas HaMachshava, which is before the Reish HaMachshava, because there's the Indian of Reish HaMachshava and Seif HaMachshava, which those are two levels of thought which are connected one to another. But the real Indian of Machshava, the real Indian of beginning comes even before that, and that is what we say Tchilas Machshava, and that's what we said. Seif Ma'aseh, the end of the doing, that comes Tchilas HaMachshava, which means the Ma'aseh Tachtonim and Olam Hazeh Tachton Dafke. That was the Tchilas HaMachshava, the beginning of the Eibishter's purpose in creating all the world. Whereas Rosh and Seif Machshava, those are all within Ishtalshlus, within levels where it's already a scholars trying to develop the thought. But the Seif Ma'aseh, that's Machshava Tchila, even higher. Again, the idea that Tachta Kavana in Brias Ha'olamus is Olam Hazeh Tachton Dafke. And we started discussing the pasuk the whole Tichlar Isi Kates with a few Perushim Shabadavar, but the idea there is that L'chol tichla, anything which has an end, there is a beginning, which means l'chol tichla, every soif, ra'isi kates, like we said yesterday, there's a aschala. We started right before the beginning, right at the end of daf chaf, of Amud Chaf, we say l'fi pirushim yesh loymar. L'chol tichla ra'isi kates koil ha'giluim d'seder shtashlos. This that we say l'chol tichla ra'isi kates, these are the revelations of Seder Shtashlos. That all revelations of Seder Shtashlos come in Midah Gvul, come with some sort of boundary. Since all the revelations in Seder Shtashlos come through it's going into Kalim, Kalim are for sure Gvul. That's the whole idea of Kalim, that they're here for Gvul, their mere existence, their definition are limited. Like every single level of Chachma, there's Klei Chachma, which are Kalim just for the idea of Chachma, and Kalim for the Ur of Chesed. And so too, the way they're drawn down is also limited. Even though Kalim Vatzilus Take, they do go all the way to the bottom of Asiyah. The Lamed Kalim, the Zun Nas Naran Lebiyah, the 30 Kalim of Zun, which is an Atzilus, become the Naran Lebiyah. So we already see how the Chabad of the Nefesh Ruach Neshama of Biyah are Amshacha from Zah and Nukva from Atzilus. So there's a direct Amshacha from Atzilus, Zun, going into Naran in Biyah. So only the pnimis of them are going. Like the pnimis of the external part of the kelim. Fine. We get the middle. They're all limited. Like the famous saying, there's a Shiur koima of Ma'aseh Bereishis. The Ma'aseh Bereishis has a measurement. The koi, when we talk over there about the Shiur koima, koi al b'chinas hakelim d'zah. Same way the Eibishter is bli gvul, so too is bli gvul. What is the kach gvul of the Eibishter? That's Sfiras Atzilus. So we already see how the Sfiras Atzilus are already the spheres of Kalim, that Batzilus are already the idea of Gvul. So we're talking about here Kalim, where Kalim are this l'chol tichlar itzikates. This is the Gvul of Kalim. So to the Eidos are also limited. Kayadua the clause Hamshach Sakav, even the Eidos, which the Hamshach Sakav is for sure Eidos, it's limited. There's a measurement. The Kolin Yone, the whole idea of the Kavulas is Malo Mata, to make this level of Malo Mata. We already mentioned this earlier in the previous Mamarim, how this is the idea of Ishtalshlus, that there is this idea of Malo Mata, which starts from the idea of Kav, that the Gilu at every level should be different. Meir b'chinas riba or yoser, b'chinas gilu yoser, b'tani karmaila. Higher up is more or. Kshemer shaloi b'riba v'giloi, kol kachi karimata. Kmoya hefresh, boifane giluya oris ba'oilamos shalamayla matils v'atils. Like there's clear difference between the way the oris are revealed higher than Atzilus and within Atzilus. Come parts of the Ak, the Eser spheres of Ak, which is higher than Atzilus. Shemer Sham Uraka Begilim Mamash, Achakol Madrigas Shamim V'chinas Iskalus Mamash. The Miyos Yitzefo Mabit Atzev Kol Aderes. On the one hand, in Ak, it's all combined, all together. That on the one hand, Tzefo Mabit Atzev Kol Aderes. So there's a Habat over there. There's a level of Gilu where everything you can see from the beginning till end, which that kind of shows on a difference of madrigas, because that's why there's idea of Teifa Kol Aderes, that there's different levels of every generation. But Mikamaka, the Kulim Niskarim, the Skira Achas, they're all seen in one cook, one overlook. They're all viewed. There's a very, very big Gilur. So the Mila over there is much more big Galui. So Mila Bribu Yoiter. But Mela you have Taka the Madregas of since it is at the end of the day the Rakav. But on the other hand, it's a much higher level of Gilur. When there's a Reish Sakav which is even higher, it's even more revealed. There's a level comparable to Atik, which is higher than the head of Ak. The higher than the head means totally removed, totally separated. So, on the one hand, it's still a Gilu of Ishtalshlos. On the other hand, it's even higher of Ak. Nivdal Berech. But also in Ak, there's this level of Gilu and Seif. Uva Kudim, Eina Gilu Kolkach. Lower than Ak, come to Akudim, there's not such a revelation. You already see a revelation of Eser Eretz. I think in Ak, the idea is, maybe it's in Akudim, that the idea is that there's Eschalkus Eser Eretz, but they're in one Keli, right? And again, these are all levels. So even in Eretz over here, because again, the Kalim over there are not yet in a oifen, like we said at the beginning of today's thing, that they are vade b'vchinas gvul, because the gvul would only be later. But rather, there's a schos is galus hakelim. What does this mean? This galus hakelim, there's a lack of gilui of oir, but mainly the kelim are now nisgala. So we see over here that even in oiros, there is these different levels of hishtalshlos. But even in the Sakudim, where there's this Eser Sfiris, and already is Galus of Kalim, it's still a Gilir and Sef. Yeah, like I just said, the Eser Eris they're all in one Keli. There's no Chalkus. So there's Chalkus of Eser Eris, perhaps, but they're all in one Keli. As Mavor Baruch, the difference why and how the Eris Taka operate over there. But again, so we have Lamaila Midul Gal to the Atik, the Reishis Gil Akav. Then there's the Ak. Then there's the Akudim. But then, now they're revealed already in a lower level. The Eser spheres didn't Kudim, now they're already in Eser Kalim. And then you get to the level to Tikkun, where there's a lot less and much bigger Kalim. The Ikar of Kalim now starts in Atzilus, and that's why Atzilus is called Asiyah the Klolos. Why? Because it already kind of corresponds to the Olam Asiyah that we have here, the Olam Asiyah Lamata, where there's kind of a yesh. So obviously Natilus can't call a yesh chas v'shalom, but still you already have the idea of Ikar Kalim. There's already more of a scholars over there of Kalim, like we already said. With Kalim, the idea of Akbala, so in that oifen they kind of get the idea of Asiyah the Klolos, where at that point there's already a new Giloi, different than all the Giloim up till then. So we're talking about till now was Bechlolos. Reishis Akav, Ak, Kudim, till Atzilus. But now even in Atzilus itself, Chachma, there's Gilur, if Yesim B'Sfer Sabina. Kashkas Veitz Chaim, the Bekeser B'Chachma, Meir Ern Sef Bekirov Makim. The Keser and Chachma, the Ern Sef is like its closest. It's like a close Gilur. Ubebina, Beruchuk Makim. Bina, the Gilur is further away. It obviously doesn't mean a physical place. Ella, the Bechachma Meir or Beribu Vigili Yoser. Mishkatz Mitzabarich Bedrush V'Kocha Agadol Reish Lamatzayin, like it's discussed at the Rebbe Marash's Maamar V'Kocha. Calls out all these Shinuyim in Eretz. Sai, all the way from Reish Sakav. And then the Prate Eretz and Atzilus, Nimded Al Yaakav. Shemoided Oifen Agilu Ba'ilmis and Seif of Ilam Atzilus V'Kol Shir V'Frat, that it measures the type of Gilui in every Oilam and the Oilam Atzilus. K'hayduah sheyesh kavim v'tzinodis miyuchadim l'kol sfira b'frat. There are different lines and different pipes for every sfira. Shezeh ha'medidah, which this kavin and tzinoris is a measurement. Eishiyah oifen agilu l'kol sfira k'mesh katzim makam acher. Kololus gilei hakav mitzayim b'atzilus. So from the Reish Sakav, this general revelation of the kav ends in atzilus. K'hayduah the gilei hakav sh'b'atzilus v'gamkin oras hakav lavad. It's only a revelation of a kav. T'etzem hakav u'meir rak bo'el mesein seif shalifnei atzilus. B'atzilus meir rak oras hakav. So technically the kav stops earlier, but in atzilus there's still a ara of it. The arazu, even the sa'ara mitzayim b'chinas malchus atzilus. Umashakav baka haparsa imohem umeir gam ba'atzilus k'moy bebiyah. This, that the kav breaks through the parsa, breaks through the boundary, and it shines also on atzilus and in biyah, and it became the malchus atzilus. When we're talking about here in biyah, it's not that the kav is meir in biyah, because we just said the kav mistayemes malchus. So we said this is became the malchus atzilus avalei biyah atman, and because kelim the malchus atzilus are what are mamshich to biyah, that's why it's kind of called biyah. The gamma kav atzma nimshach b'chinas yosher the akav mistayim ba'asiyah chulu. And it close b'chinas akav sorry. Hagam shenimshach b'chol ha'olemus and removed them. Even though this level of ak is nimshach in all the olemus, it's separated. V'einem erben begiluk mashkas makamacher. V'chein ha'olemus down here in b'chinas mitzias yesh. Shadei im hoya merben b'chinas ak. If ak would have been revealed in the olem, hoya b'chinas bittul mitzias l'gamri. El sheb'chinas ak hagam shenimshach b'chol ha'olemus. And they removed them, it's still separated. And that is taka what ak creates in the world. That's the mila of the aras hakav. That every single level is mifchinas bittul d'mitzias mitzada bittul b'chinas ak, which is merit in all the oilmas. Ve'efshar zel mitzada gulendak, and maybe this is from the ora sovev or the ora makif or but not the actual ora pnimis of ak. So it's there, and that's taka what gives the Nivraim the koyach to have a bittul b'mitzias. But mikamakam ain't a nirgish by Nivraim. The bittul shabar b'hem bargoshasim b'chirasim. If they choose, they want it, they have it. Mishkasim makam acher. Umemela, move on. The b'chinas hakav ain't a mer b'hem. Down here lamata, there is no b'chinas gilei hakav raka ora ve'ora de ora me'akav u'shemer b'biyah. But the ora hakav is mistayim ba'atzilus. So we're saying over here is that l'chol tichler itikates. This is going about these giluim of Seder Shtashlos, which tak have an end. Like we see over here that the Urakav, even though we know there's Aschalas, there's Reishas Hakav where it started, there is an end. And obviously this is all in the Kalim, because that becomes a Magbala. But even in the Uris, like we were just Marich and all these Nyanim, that in every single level there is Ha'aras Hakav. Nimtza, the Chololus Gilei Hakav, Yesh Loi Seifet Hachlas. It adds an etch from this time Ura Canal. Umela Behechech, since we see the end, the Chol Tichla, Raisi Kates. Mele Behechel, she's like Kates. That's Chol Olamayla, it had to start somewhere. V'hainu, where did it start? Tam Shechatzu Lachar Tzimtzum Dafka. How does it start Lachar Tzimtzum? Shenis Alem O'ira Rishon. The Ur was concealed. V'nasa Chol Olumakim Panui. So your Panui Megillah Ur was totally empty from all Uris. V'achar Kach Hischil Ur B'chinas HaKav. It was dark, there was no Gilui Ur, and then the light came out. In the Yoista Kav, Nimshach Mer, Sefshlifnat Timtum, Sataka, the Kav comes from Ur and Sefshlifnat Timtum. Like we said in the beginning of the Maimer, that's the whole Chiddush, that there was a Ur Chezer veneer, that it could come into the elements. But when Kamakim, they should cut me at Timtum and Makim Panim, because Heder, Nimshach, because Midu Gvol, Fiyesh Soif, Vitach, Sam Shachasim. And since now it's measured, there is a Soif and there is a tachlis, there's a reason and an end to where it's being nimshach. And this explains, like we just said, everything was equal. The chemia lost, and that same way it's going to be when Mashiach comes. When we're going to reveal the Aaron Seif of the Ebrish there, like it was Lifnat Tzimtzum. There will not be any more. concealment. There's going to be resting. So again, before we continue, again, we now we started today again, re-emphasizing this point, how the Gilui of earn the world, Tachlis will be in Mashiach, going back to the way it was, Lifnei Brias Olam. And at length we kind of explained here how the Chol Tichla Risi Kates goes on all the Giluyim of the Eibush there, that even though there's Taka Giluyim, and there's Taka Hamshachas, and Hamshachas from the Ur and Seif, Shalifnei Atzimtzum, but they were all Nimshach from the Makhol and Makom Pano Al Edei Atzimtzum, and therefore they are Mistayim at some point. Like we said previously, we just said that they're Mistayim at Kalim Malchus Tatzilus, and everything we get over here is P'chinas Yashos. There will be loyeh b'chinas tzimtzumim. And to me, menucha. What's menucha over here? It's resting from doing tzimtzumim. The tzimtzumim, elikim is the idea of tzimtzum. Those stopped. The shavas mem David rested from it. The ikar agila azeh of menucha yiyah be'elef hazayin, the 7,000 bayim shekul Shabbos menucha when Mashiach comes. There will not anymore be this kates v'seif, which cuts up ki ayin ba'ayin yiru, eye to eye we will see v'nigla k'vay davai v'roikal basar ukvar hoya lo'ilamim. This already happened. But even Kazeb Beis Hamikdash, Shahoya Gilu Erin Seif Mamash B'Kedesh HaKadoshim had in that place in the Beis Hamikdash had this Gilu. Kamaimer Tzimtzim Shchinose Ben Shnei Ba'adei Ha'arin. The Eibush there was Mitzamtem Shchina between the Ba'adei Ha'arin, but over there in the Tzimtzim Shchinose there was a Gilu in a Eifim of Menucha. K'moik in Becholos Beis Hamikdash V'Araya, the Raya that it was there Ma'asar Nisim Shai Beis Hamikdash. The Sholosh Pa'amim Yeira Kol Schurcha, all the Yidden came. The Kshem Shabal Liras Kach Bol Leroy, the same way you went to see, you went to be seen. Ma Liras B'Shtei Einov. You saw the Beis Hamikdash with your two eyes. The Eibush saw you. Shelo Gilei L'Kus Mamash B'Beis Hamikdash. Mishkasav Machain L'Shivtecha. A place for your resting. Mamash the Eibush rested over there. A real place of resting. Befrat B'Kodesh HaKadoshim Harei Hoya Gilei Eretz Seif Mamash Lamata. So this already existed in the Beis Hamikdash. Lots of love. It's going to be in the whole world. Ein zeu gamkin achshav b'chol Shabbos v'Shabbos. The boy Shabbos matzimtzumim. Every Shabbos. We're here at of Shabbos. So we can talk. We can talk. Think about it. When Shabbos comes, we have a rest from tzimtzumim. Omer gamkin shelo yalei tzimtzum. There's also a shelo yalei tzimtzum. Meil nimshchayv hagilu lamata. Because of Shabbos Lashem. The Shabbos Meir Gilu Shem Havaya, there's a revelation of the Eibusher, Shaloy Al De Tzimtzum the Shem Elikim, which comes directly through Shabbos Lashem, without a Tzimtzum, without Elikim, we get the real Gilu Shem Havaya. And now we have a reason why we can't do Malacha on Shabbos. The Shabbos Meir Gilu Shem Havaya, Shaloy Al De Tzimtzum, the Shem Elikim, the Mechve B'Machi Kamei Malka. It's like ringing a bell or making a motion before a king. So because the Eibusher is being mayor, like both in the Malka and both in Gilui, you can't do Malacha, you can't Machi b'Machi. El Shabachom, what are Aseret Malachim, Leishol Kus Misalim, Mistatim Ranivraim. During the week, you're allowed to do Malacha. El Kus Misalim, it's hidden. Al B'Shabbos Sha'or Meir B'Gilui, Hari also Aseret Malachim, Mishkasim Sefer Shabbatim, Sefer Menvav. Lachin Gam Lamata, Ein Ta'aruv Esrach L'Al B'Shabbos. There is no bad mixed in on Shabbos. Perish Chagechem, V'le Perish Shabbatchem. There's the Perish the excrements of Yom Tov, but not of Shabbos. Ta'achil the Shabbos kuloi tov. It's all good. Blishum ta'aruv esrach shaloi klal b'Shabbos. K'moy alechem panag la'asid, like the pleasure bread we're going to have la'asid. Sha'asida aretz shetoitze gluskois, that the land when Mashiach will come will take out cakes. Shaloi yibem shum ta'aruv esrach. K'moy kinu achshav b'Shabbos, so too it's now b'Shabbos. When you eat on Shabbos, there's only good. Because the Gilu Eretz Seif that comes down every Shabbos, so merely Spardical Pile often. So again, we have these three inyanim, three times where there's going to be a Gilu of Eretz Seif Mamash. We have it every Shabbos here, Lamata. We have it in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, and La'asid Lava in times of Mashiach when it's going to be B'chol Makim B'chol Zman. They kind of can have we can talk a little bit about how the times of the Beis Hamikdash there was a Hagbala Makim. Was only in one place. There was no Agbola in Zman though. Time of Shabbos, Agbola in Zman. There's no Agbola in Makim. That's love is no Agbola of Zman, no Agbola in Makim. Yep. V'chein b'hamshach shel Torah, but now we have another type of hamshach. Nimshach gam kein b'chinas gilur and seif lamata. Also through learning Torah, we're mamshach gilur and seif lamata. From the shirish hamshachim, we're earn seif shalifna atzimtzum. Because hamshach of Torah comes from earn seif shalifna atzimtzum, which because of vayi koil me'al rakia. Like it says, there's a voice higher than the rakia. V'yedu the koil koil Torah shalman rakia mafsik. Higher than rakia means higher than the madrega of hafsaka, higher than the rakia, which the rakia is also the idea of tzimtzumim. Koil of Torah is higher than that. The b'sharshay. Pchinas Tzimtzum Rishon, which did Rekia as a first Tzimtzum, but called the Torah Milifnei Tzimtzum. Umevela, since it comes before the Tzimtzum, Nimshach Ad Lamata Mamash, there's no Hafsaka. Again, the Chol Tichla Reisi case. Earliest of say there's Tashlus which come through a level of Tzimtzum Reisi case. There's an end to it. Like we said, the Chol Tichla. Since I find an end, Reisi case, I know there's Aschala. But Torah, which comes without Aschala, higher than Tzimtzum, we don't know what Aschala is. And Aschala is nimshach from Eretz Shalifna Tzimtzum, then nimshach ad lamata mamash. Okay, do the Torah k'moshi lamata. The Torah, the way it is down here, hareyu k'moshi hi lamayla mamash. It's mamash the way it is lamayla. V'loy k'moy gilei akav. And this is different than the gilei akav. Sheyesh v'loy maylo lamata. It's not similar at the end to the beginning. Like we said earlier, the end is the kav is milo mata. Every level gets smaller. It's longer than the land, and there's no agbala. And that's why the main Gilui Torah is dafka down here. Because Lamaila, it doesn't reveal this idea where it's the same all the way down here. Dafka Lamata, where you see that the Torah was not changed, and Haruka Meretz Midah, even down here Lamata, that's where you have a mile of Torah. Torah wasn't given to Malachim because again, there's no mile. So Yishlem the Zeh Dafka Mish Torah Moshe Batzos Mamash to Knizu Efshel this Galskim when the Shamas and Bashas beguf Lamata Dafka, because this is a level of Torah. The way it can only go to Neshamas Begufim, because it's so high, the Malachim would become Klitz and Nefesh. Dafka Neshamas Begufim, which I guess we feel Metzius and Matzmusim, where we have the kind of this is Galas of Atmos, we can be Makabal the Torah. Yeah, we're going to have it in a few hundred pages. We're going to have a more of an explanation than that. This is also the revelation. There's not going to be Matan Torah again. The Loyoda Enosh Erka Varakal Kimev and Daka. We're not going to have again a revelation the way the Torah is mamash by the Eibishter K'may Ayin L'Rasa Varakal Kum Zol Secha. The B'shul Zeh Slab Shon Neshamas Begufim T'chias HaMeisim. And that's why we're going to have a Slab Shon Neshamas Begufim in T'chias HaMeisim. So Taka, the level of Matan Torah may not happen again because we're going to want to have Dafka the Gilui Lamata. We're going to have the Gilui Lamata the way it is in Neshamas Begufim. Me'ein Zeh Gam Achshav Tzadikim G'dolim. Basic Torah, they have the same level of like Mashiach. Tzadikim G'dolim, K'mamar Elam Chatir B'chayecha, they could live Olam Haba in their life right now. So the high level of Torah, the way it's Mushashas Ba'am Shachos, B'Sher Sham Shachos, that's Taka Bli Gvul. Avatzad Gilui Eretz Torah, the Yeshno Torah B'Kol Olamos, B'Matzil, Gam Olamos B'Yah, V'Adei Neshamas, and Gam Malachim B'Kam Torah. So then Taka, even within Torah, there is this type of levels. But with all these levels of Torah, it's not because it's being more concealed or more limited, because then you have more Ar Lamaila. The lower it gets, the lower the Eris gets. Dafka, because it shows that the Torah is higher than, that is the same Lamata. The Kav Amida measures out how the earth and Kelim will be. Find a Shiyah Gilui Ha'er Erecha Kelim Erecha Oilmus Kelim Yetzer Gilui Erecha. That the more, if they're more Shachter and safe, the revelation is more. The Kav, which again comes through Tzimtzum, that Lamaila Dafka has more. It's not because of its measurements. It's a different Indian. ולכן לא נמשך גם כן למטה ממש בעולם התחתון. ולכן נמשך גם כן למטה ממש בעולם התחתון. And that's why it's dafke down here lamata. So again, in the Sagaim here, they kind of went on a little bit of a stira, perhaps, to what we were saying, how there is madrigas in Torah. You know, Matan Torah was one type of gilui, La'atzil will be one type of gilui, Neshamis get one type of gilui, Malachim get one type of gilui, there's a gilui in Atzilus, there's a gilui somewhere else, but Vinish Dvi, we say in the Sagaim over here, that the Oira Torah is Nimshach Lamata because there is no Hagbala in it. And that's the Indian. Because if it would be Mitada Gilui Lamata Dafka, then the Gilui Lamaila is even higher. We could Sagram is really shaykh to tomorrow's Shiur. Just want to get to the bottom of the paragraph over here. But what we could do more Baruch, more Be'iyun tomorrow. Because the Torah protects them from Gehenim. When B'Shabbos again, Shagenim Nach B'Shabbos is corresponding to the Gilui of Eir Ki, which is on Shabbos. Finally, through learning Torah, the Gilui Ernst is down here. Any two people learn Torah, Shkina Shruya. And it says over there, even one person learns Torah. Because that's where you have a Gilui Ur and Sev, please Shum Agbalas. The revelations in the world, there is measurements, there is a limitation. So we basically learned today, and we went a little bit over, but what we learned today is that l'chal tichler yitziketz goes on giluyim of tedei shtalshlus, but there's other giluyim which do not have a beginning. They come from Aaron Shlif Nat Tzimtzum. We spoke about the gilui of La'asid, the gilui of Shabbos, the gilui in the Beis Hamikdash, but the ikar kach over here we had is the gilui of Torah. And this will kind of, tomorrow's Shiur, close out the Maimer with this idea. And again, this all is a continuation to explain that dafke through the avodas hatachtonim we can achieve this gilui, and we can all have this level of olam chatira